Good evening. My name is Khalid Sheikh. I am Pakistani and I'm speaking to the rest of the world, the beautiful world that God created for us. But somewhere along the line, we have not treaded on the right path. I'm not going to carry on with this topic, but I am going to tell you something. And be very careful in listening to every single word I say. Because the thing is, when we do not listen properly, the thing that I'm saying does not get digested into your mind. Therefore, it cannot be acted upon, beside the fact that it is waste of my time and waste of your time if you listen and you do not understand what I've said. Now, the topic I'm talking today, and don't get it wrong, it's very serious what I'm saying, and I think that we can solve the problems. Now, excuse me. Now, the thing is, the war between Iran, Israel, and America was one of the saddest things that could possibly happen. What brought it was basically an issue that was created in 1947 when the Jews were allowed to settle on Arab land and they occupied it. This was a big problem, a problem that should have been solved amicably both by Israel and both by UK and the Arab states. But we did not pay attention to it, and this was allowed to lie low. It was allowed to lie low, but there were a lot of hijackings, there was a lot of violence, and terrorism. A lot of lives were lost on both sides, and a lot more on the Palestinian side, which actually is rather sad because it wasn't the fault of Palestinians if the Jews were mistreated by Hitler. In fact, if anything, the Arabs were very kind to Jews in giving them the land. Obviously, if you were to think, I'm talking to now Mr. Netanyahu, I want to tell him something, is this, that if somebody occupies your home and make you, put you out of the house and starts to live there, while you are living on the mountains, while you are living on the barren land, while you are living on the scorching sun, then if you say that this is very bad. And this is where it became such an extremely bad thing that day by day it was getting nearer to war. But even then, our big powers, namely, in fact, you can call them all big powers, but Russia, America, Europe, a lot of them, they did not pay attention to it. They did not realize that one day this situation will create such a big war where maybe most of the world will be destroyed. So what I'm trying to say to you, I'm not going to say anything bad to Jews. I'm not going to say anything bad to Arabs or Muslims, because it was something which should have been done a long time ago, but was not done. This problem needed attention. Now it came to such a stage that for 70 years a problem went on and on and on and on, with the result that thousands of people died in Gaza and 1,000 of people died in Lebanon. Wonderful people. And then obviously you cannot exclude Iraq, where a massive population also went under what you call massive terrorism, if you may call it, or a war. Whatever you like, the fact is that a lot of people died, a lot of things went bad, a lot of buildings got destroyed, the development that had taken place over the last 50, 70 years was brought to point zero. I am trying to be very short on this, and then anyway, let's move on. And then what happens is a war between Israel and America on Iran. That was not good. Obviously, if they are saying that Hezbollah was throwing what they call them, sometimes you forget things. They were throwing rockets and this and that. They were not mad that they would throw. There was a reason for it. And I am not supporting them, or I'm not supporting anyone who does violence. It's not good. Anyway, so the war carried on. But one of the best things that happened, and that was never expected, that Mr. Donald Trump, who a lot of nations say things which are not good about him. He's a very good man. He's a man of peace. It seems that he is going to do this or that, but he will not do it. He's a very sensible man. If he was not sensible, he wouldn't be one of the richest men in the world. And business-wise, he was very good as well. Eventually, Mr. Donald Trump took the steam out of the war and said, let's talk. And they chose Pakistan for negotiations. Now, this is something that no other president would have done. But by doing what Mr. Donald Trump did, it won the hearts of the people of Pakistan. Not because it attacked Iran, but because it showed his willingness to go for peace and use Pakistan, who Iran was able to trust. And so was Mr. Donald Trump. It's very good like that, but excuse me if in my English I say a word or two extra or a word or two short. When you're speaking like this, without having written anything, but going by your memory of the war and the different reactions that took place over the period of time, then obviously you're going to trip somewhere. But I don't trip as much as an electric can trip, because if electric trip is tripped, and you have to go to some switchboard to put it right. But I can put myself right by just speaking another sentence. Mr. Donald Trump, let me tell you something. And I am not saying this because I think that I am going to get anything out of you, or I want anything out of you, or for that matter, the government of Pakistan, or for anybody. What I want is peace in the world. It's the same thing that you want. Sometimes it doesn't seem like this, but when you look at the end result, it is not as bad as it was thought of. So now, Mr. Donald Trump, I'm addressing to the whole world. Now, Mr. Donald Trump has stopped that approach, changed the position altogether, and is moving slowly but steadily towards peace. Mr. Donald Trump has done some concession, quite a few concessions, and Iran has done a lot to move towards the peace. The Iranian foreign minister has made many trips to Pakistan to go over each and everything again and again and again, and so has the Americans. So there is some, at least, sanity prevailing in two countries, America and Iran. Excuse me. And now the situation is this, that when you are doing a negotiation, it's fine to do the negotiation the way it is done. Well, I'm not saying it's 100% correct, because it isn't. But I tell you about this war that took place, and then eventually the peace negotiation. One thing we have to understand, that it is not Iran and it is not USA, or even for that matter Israel. Now, to put this situation in peace, we have to talk to UAE, we have to talk to Qatar, we have to talk to Iran, we have to talk to Iraq, we have to talk to Turkey, we have to talk to Israel, and we have to talk to Syria and one or two other, Yemen and one or two other countries. By talking, it doesn't mean that they should all come to the talking table. No. There should be a peace between Iran and USA first, as it is happening in Pakistan. Having come to that stage, then Pakistan, USA, and Iran, as threesome, should have negotiation, so let's say, first of all, with Qatar. So we see what is the demands of Iraq. One thing has been proved, that having bases in different countries does not help. The only reason UAE has suffered is because they were American bases, and Iran felt that they are going to attack us from there. They may have to attack from there, I don't know. But, so, everywhere there was an American base, Iranians attacked, because that was USA. And USA was at the time attacking Iran. So having solved the problem with Iran and USA, the next step is Qatar. Now, in Qatar, we should have peace negotiation, which should be reasonable, in which we should not necessarily have bases there, because it's not going to help. But there should be a guarantee of peace to Qatar, with both countries like Pakistan, Iran, and USA, that none of the countries will attack Qatar. And if they do, these three countries will go and defend it. Then the second country to negotiate and understand their problem and make them understand Iran's problem or USA problem is UAE. There is no hard talk in these things. This is peaceful and affectionate, loving and caring talk. So whatever loss has occurred, let's reasonably work it out. It may be that not everybody can pay everybody's loss, but at least an assessment can be made for the future that this is what you get when you do anything which is wrong. But we will try and see where the losses are and how they can be made up. I'm using this word because I do not wish to specify anything that may not be very pleasant for any of the countries. Then comes Saudi Arabia. I think that can be, Pakistan already has a defense pact with Saudi Arabia and a formal meeting with Saudi Arabia with the USA, Iran and Pakistan sitting. They can work out a pleasant defense agreement. After that, we are going. Yemen is a different issue, and I think that ought to be solved. I do not know the in and out of Yemen problem, so I would say to those who know better, that please look at this situation, and one way or the other, with the help of Saudi Arabia, even with the help of Egypt, let's try and create a peaceful situation in Yemen. Now, Libya is another issue. Libya, I cannot go into the past because what I'm trying is to move forward rather than dig the unpleasant or hurtful past of each and every country in the world. There are things which were done in UK, for example, the blowing of the aeroplane in Scotland. Obviously, it was very hurtful. And similarly, what happened in Libya wasn't good either. If we go back into the history, that we will never achieve peace and we will never move forward. So then the biggest problem we will leave out for about 6 months, because in this 6 months we will solve these problems. Then is the problem of Palestine and Israel. I think that I wish to play a part. Because I tell you why I say that. It's not that I have anything against any country in the world, including Israel, because they're all human beings, God's mankind. I cannot say bad things or wish bad. But I certainly think that it is necessary that we talk to Israel and we see what are the problems between us and Israel. Why there is this hatred, why there is this problem, and how can we solve this problem of Israel and Arabs. I'm sure it's not an impossible problem. God has created a lot of land, God has created a lot of places, and there are countries where there is not enough people to settle. If you can create goodwill, then obviously the whole of the Arab countries can be happy, including the people living in Israel. But we have to move slowly, we have to talk steadily, we have to make sure that we don't kill one of their people or they don't kill any one of us. Each human being, irrespective of any religion, is as kind and as good as any other. So please, as a first part, I say please clear and clean your hearts of any hatred that may exist for each other in your hearts. If you can do that, you have gone 50% forward towards achieving a durable peace. And that would be a great achievement. But it's only possible if we understand what is our target, how we can do that. And I tell you that even if we don't achieve our target, as long as we can keep the world peaceful, do not wage war on each other, we'll slowly have a lot of goodwill. So I tell you one thing, Mr. Donald Trump, you may have been criticized by many countries, but not at one time I criticize you, because I tell you, I saw your acts. Let me tell you your acts. You, in the previous time you came as a president, you went straight to North Korea, and in some way or the other, you tried to create peace. Thereafter, in this time when there was a war between India and Pakistan, then you tried to stop that war, which was very, very good, which showed how much you loved peace. You could have left them alone to destroy each other, but you didn't do that. Overnight, you stopped the war. And if we do not appreciate your effort, we are not honest and sincere person. Going further than that, what happened in Iran? I know that Mr. Netanyahu is your friend, and there is nothing wrong with having friendship. A lot of people have friends. I have many friends in even India and other places. But you know, even your friend, you tend to listen a little more, because the man coming to you again and again every 2 months, it has greater access to you than other people. So one who has access to you, you are likely to hear him more. And then obviously he influences you, and you realize that although I think I need to help Israel and attack with them, or whatever led to this. But sooner or later, and then you picked up a country which clearly Israel had no confidence on, which is Pakistan. But you did not change your mind, because you knew, and I tell you also, because I'm Pakistani, there's one thing about Pakistan: 99.9% Pakistan is a fair country. When it is made a judge, it will give a judgment which is correct. It will not say anything against India. What is fair is what will be done. I have advised Pakistan many times, generally in via YouTube and others, to have goodwill for India, and I have asked India to have goodwill. Now, Mr. Donald Trump, you have very little time. I'm not talking in terms of your age, I'm talking in terms of your tenure. Now, maybe 2 years, I don't know exactly. You have to play a very vital role to create peace in the whole of Middle East, including all the countries. And if it cannot be created with Israel in it, don't worry, we will, and Israel will, find its own route to peace, and good, good terms with each other. I tell you a little, it's not a story, it's a fact. You know, General de Gaulle, he was the president of Russia, president of France. I'm sorry, sometimes when you're talking about different countries and too many countries, tongue slips with the other. But anyway, General de Gaulle was president of France. And Harold Wilson, who was quite a sharp politician in UK, applied for European membership. And that was rejected by General de Gaulle. When he did that, and there was a lot of noise in the papers and television that the British application has been rejected and this and that. But you know what what's his name, Harold Wilson did? He said that our application to join European Union stays on the table. Even if it is rejected, we will not accept the rejection. And when General de Gaulle died or retired, I think he died. I think he died. Mr. Pompidou became the president of France. Obviously, Mr. Pompidou was a different type of personality. He didn't have that much against the British as General de Gaulle had. General de Gaulle was a little bit of a Napoleon. But anyway, so that's what happened. So what I'm saying to you, and then in the time of Pompidou, Britain became the member of European Community. It was rejected, but what he did, he said, it stays there with you. So obviously, Britain became the member of the common market. And then I believe Harold Wilson was not so well with memory, and he sort of resigned or retired. So you have to understand that sometimes what does not get resolved, we do not just get angry, but we say, okay, we want this, we will leave it there and we will try again. And that's how it works. But if we don't do this, and instead we decide to wage a war, I can assure you that war will do nothing. As you have seen, that it has created a greater problem now to even have peace. Peace is what we wanted, and now peace has become so difficult. But I'm sure that Mr. Donald Trump will get what he wants. He will not be unfair to Iran. If he's unfair to Iran, that will not work. And another thing is, we have to look at the problem of Israel and topics connected therewith. We cannot immediately change the situation in Israel, but it will change. Because if it doesn't change, we'll have not one but many wars, many killings, and a lot of destruction. I don't think any country in the world wants that. We must look at things. We must analyze things. We must diagnose things. We must not go too far. We must not get too angry. But we should try and resolve the problem, slowly but steadily. So say we have 10 issues. If we can agree to 7, 3 can wait for another 3 months. to give us time, give Iranian time, and give USA time, how the other three can be resolved. They will be meeting there, they will be meeting there. And then we will maybe left with one or two. But the 8 that we have solved will have created such a goodwill that actually the rest of the 2 may not even remain a problem, because so much goodwill has generated within the countries. I will stop here because I want you to think over it. I am basically an accountant, but more so, I have looked at everything in the world, traveled quite a bit, and have always looked at things in depth, with calmness. And I honestly speaking, I'm telling you that although a lot of people say these things, I pray and I wish Iran very well, I wish USA very well, I wish the whole of Middle East very well, and Iran, because that is the only good thing that we can do, and we should do. So, Mr. Donald Trump, once you have solved this problem, say that you have agreed to 7 items, so sign an agreement on the 7 and give the other 3 months to resolve. And I'm sure that you will see that the goodwill which these 7 will generate will evaporate the problem of the other 3. They will be resolved. Trust me, because I have a lot of experience because I am 83-year-old. I have seen the good of the world. I have seen the bad of the world. I have seen the problem of Ireland, Northern Ireland, where there was violence, where there were so many problems. There was war going on for almost 30 years between Northern Ireland, and eventually it was Mr. Bill Clinton with Tony Blair that this problem was resolved. It took about 6 months to a year, but it was resolved. So please understand, now once a problem is resolved, then you are able to compare what was good without resolving and what's bad with resolving. And you clearly see which one is better. So similarly, as the problem of Ireland just evaporated, the problem of Israel and others can be resolved. There was a problem in Rhodesia. I know they may not have the best leader, I don't know what his name, but he was a good speaker though. But he did certain things which were not good for his country, Mugabe, I think, or somebody. And I think he ruled good 40 years. Now, that was after Rhodesia, Ian Smith's time. So, please listen to me, and I'm speaking to the whole world, and more so particularly with the 3 countries who are directly involved, which is Iran, America, and Pakistan as the negotiating center. So please help the world. Let it be a better world. Let people have their children grow in a nice world. Because at any time, wars, killing, etc., can never give you anything. It can only destroy you. It can only destroy your children. It can only destroy the world. It will only create starvation and economic disaster. I will finish here, and I honestly, from the depth of my heart, thank Mr. Donald Trump, thank the President of Iran, thank the Foreign Minister of Iran, who played a very active role in peace talks. I'm so very grateful to Field Marshal Munir, Mr. Shabazz Sharif, and of course, Isaac Dar Sahib. So I wish you all well, and I'm very happy the way you have conducted. But don't leave it there. Take it to its destination. And if any time in your life, not for a handshake, I don't want that. If any time you have a lot of time, time means at least 2-3 hours in a peaceful way. Because I tell you, when you're sitting in your office having a meeting, that's not comfortable. That doesn't put you at ease. It's when you're at ease that you find solutions. When you're not at ease, you don't find solutions. I offer my, you see, I'm 83, quite an age, but I'm mentally very alert and quite good actually. But I am not looking for a job. I'm not looking for anything. I'm looking to give a little bit effort towards the peace. If I can help 1%, I wanted to put that 1% there. So I also want to thank another gentleman who is the American Vice President. He's a very talented young man, and I wish him very well. He played a very good role. The warmth he generated when he was meeting different delegates, I could read. As a wonderful person. His approach, rather than being aggressive and annoying or bad, was one of friendly with a country that they have been throwing missiles at each other. He's a fantastic man, and I'm sure that sooner or later he will be the President of America. He has a lot in him. I'm telling you, again, there's no reason. What do you need at 83? A good sleep, peace in the world, and see happy children. Nothing else. Okay, my dear friends, thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.